So how do we trust Jesus when we do not understand? When we really have no idea what the hell's going on? When we have no idea how to feel better? When it's just like everything's going wrong? If we feel terrible, it looks terrible in our life, everything's just going wrong. It's like, okay, how do we get back online? We hear the verse. Lean not on your own understanding. Trust in the Lord in all thine ways, or trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. But what does that really mean to actually do that? That's the part that's a little bit like, what the freak? But if we can get that down, all of a sudden you're gonna have a map and a blueprint to handle every single decision in your life, so that you will know what it means to acknowledge God. This is something I wanted to know, because like, there's times where it's just like, you're not feeling good, you're not feeling right. It's like, oh, I feel apart from God, I feel apart from my love, joy, peace that I want to be in, and I feel like it's just not working right now. I'm not where I should be. But if we think about it like this is what I dove into. So if you think about the story of Peter was somebody that was just a normal dude. Jesus walks up on the side of a beach, or not even a beach, a freaking sea. On the side of the sea, Peter has his little boat and he was fishing, couldn't find no fish. Jesus comes up, he's like, just cast your fish right there. He's like, just cast it right there and I'll be able to get you fish. He gets him all these fish and he's like, follow me and I will make you a fisher of men. Peter is just a random dude. He's just a random dude out of nowhere, just like us. But he decides to follow Jesus, and because he knows that that's what he wants to start to become. That's why you follow people back then. You follow a rabbi and be a disciple to start to be like them. But along the path that he's following Jesus, he makes a lot of mistakes. He doesn't actually live perfectly, just like every single one of us. Jesus comes on the water and he tells him to come out onto the water and follow and come to me. And Peter does this in faith, but then all of a sudden he's walking on the water and all of a sudden he loses the attention on Jesus and he falls through the water. And he cries out to Jesus in that moment, Lord, save me. Jesus reaches his hand down, grabs him out of the water and says, O ye of little faith, why did you doubt? But think about that concept right there. Just that whole thing. He basically was able to focus on Jesus, acknowledging God, acknowledging Jesus, trusting him, but he lost sight of it. He fell because he lost the attention. But what did he do in that time? He asked Jesus for help. Lord, save me. He just re-acknowledges him, acknowledging God in all of his ways, trying his best too. That doesn't mean that you're going to be able to do it all the time, that you're always going to have your attention on Jesus, that you're always going to look to him first for these decisions. But if we can continue to grow in it and learn in it, all of a sudden we start to learn what it means to just trust Jesus, and we start to become like Jesus. Because Peter was not perfect. If you go down the line, all of a sudden Jesus is, literally getting beaten, and they're just kind of toiling on him. He's about to get thrown on the cross, but he's in this place where they're kind of prosecuting him, and then they start like wailing on him. They literally start beating him. Peter is there, and people start calling out like, yo, aren't you the guy that was following Jesus? You're that guy that was following Jesus, right? You're part of with him. Wow, Jesus literally getting beat right there. And Peter, in this moment of weakness, he denies him 3 times. Think about that on Jesus' side. This dude, Jesus, has literally called him from a fisherman and given him so much and allowed him to follow him and just has poured into him. And in his moment of just complete turmoil, Peter turns away from him. And think about Peter feeling that. Realizing after he says that 3 times, he realized he hears the crow call, and realizing that Jesus predicted this. Imagine how that would feel, knowing that. But then if you think about this, we do that to Jesus so many times in our life. We're following him. He's called us from us being normal freaking people and has helped us so much, but we still fall and we fail. And we deny him. We do things that are against him. But this is the beautiful part. Later on down the line, after I'm sure Peter beat himself up, he felt so bad about that. Jesus gets crucified. He's down. He's in the grave. After he gets resurrected, Jesus comes to Peter. There's a time where Jesus comes to Peter. And of course, Peter is going to be absolutely starstruck. He's going to be like, what the freak? And he's going to feel bad. But Jesus comes to Peter and he asks him 3 times. He says, loveth me thou? To Peter. He asks him, do you love me? Basically. He says, do you love me? And Peter says, yes, the first time. Then he asks him again, do you love me? And Peter says, yes, the second time. And he says, do you love me? He asks him, and Peter's like, yes, I freaking love you. And Jesus tells him, feed my sheep. It's as simple as that. So even though Peter denied him, even though Peter made all these mistakes, God just asked him, do you love me? When we feel that guilt, when we feel these things that literally pull us down into like beating ourselves up, into guilt, into why do I do this, or why do I turn against God? All he's asking you is, do you love him? And I think a lot of us, every single one of us pretty much, can say we do. Even when our actions don't always match it, even when things aren't necessarily perfect in our life, even when we make mistakes and we fall. And after, all we have to say is, do we love Jesus? And we say yes. And because we love Jesus, just like he told Peter, all we have to do is feed his sheep, which basically means obey him. Just listen, just continue to try your best and obey him, following that one step at a time. If we can remind ourselves, all we need to do is love Jesus and obey him. That's pretty much putting it into a simple way of knowing that we can just trust him and acknowledge him even in these mistakes, even in these things that are going wrong. And if we realize just acknowledging him, just saying, Jesus, I trust you. Jesus, I'm going to acknowledge you. Just like Peter, when he sinks, when things happen and things are like, oh my gosh, what the hell's going on? All we have to do is acknowledge God. But the beautiful thing about this is that it will actually start to get you to where you need to be once you realize that you're trying to be like Jesus. I saw in this book called Unreasonable Hospitality, he said that for his restaurant, they rank restaurants from 1 to 50, like the top 50 best restaurants. At first, in the beginning of the book, he said that his restaurant was ranked 50th. But one of the main things that he said that they did to help shape the actual culture of the restaurant is have main principles that would help every single decision that they made. He said that the main principles of like unreasonable hospitality, which is basically just being able to consistently give and serve the customer. And he talks about these principles and trying to get them into his mind and into his employees' mind as much as he can. He said that that would basically be able to filter out what they should do versus what they shouldn't. And over time, it would get them to where they needed to be. So he had like these 5 core principles of unreasonable hospitality. Like, okay, this is what we want to do here, here, and here. This is how we treat customers. This is how we value each other. This is how we make sure that we communicate. And he said once we would get all these principles down, we know that that's going to get us to being the best possible restaurant that we can be and where we want to be. It's like a homing missile that you're setting in, knowing that it starts to get filtered and it starts to push you towards that ultimate goal. That is the same thing with Jesus. Acknowledging him in all our ways is based off of the principles. It's based off of, if you lack trust, if you're insecure, if you fail in that one day, acknowledge him. Say, God, I failed in trust. I couldn't trust you today. I was insecure. I focused too much about myself. Let me acknowledge you. What do you say about how I should handle this? Oh, you actually say, just like Peter, just acknowledge me and trust me and continue to follow me. Okay, now I know how to do that. The more that we realize that's the ultimate goal, to be like Jesus in that love, joy, peace, faith, kindness, all that stuff, the more that we're like, okay, this is what I want to get to. This is where I'm at right now. How do I get to this ultimate goal? And then your mind, your supercomputer of a mind, starts being like, okay, let's get to that. Let's figure out what's going wrong. Oh, this is really wrong right now. I'm very selfish. I'm focusing on myself only. Let me live more in love. Let me look up some Bible stories about love. Let me find what Jesus says about love. That's acknowledging him in all your ways, and your path will be made straight. Seek first the kingdom, and all of these things will be given unto you. Just knowing that if you can seek that love, joy, peace, everything else is going to happen as it needs to happen. God's going to put you exactly where you need to be, and he's going to get you right mentally on the inside. It's going to be the most beautiful thing we've ever seen in our life. But I'm starting to see just how amazing it is, because at first I was like, I don't know how to get to freaking love, joy, peace. I don't know what to do. But once I just started acknowledging, okay, God, how would you want me to do this? And having the principles of that love, joy, peace, faith, understanding what those mean, all of a sudden I'm realizing, okay, this is where I'm getting to. This is where I need to improve. It just starts happening over time slowly, and I love it. And I know it can happen in your life. I know it's going to change your life. It makes it so much easier because you don't got to freaking stress over every little decision that you're trying to make. Yeah, so that's basically it, man. I love you guys very much. There's my cat over there. Hope you guys are having an amazing one, man. Hope you're not stressing about too much today. I will talk to you on the next video. Peace.